Hi, landlords, flippers, and everybody else that is joining us today for the stream. We wanted to thank you a lot for coming here, and despite everything that is happening in the world, and we hope everybody is staying safe. Yeah, like we're meeting today here in this a bit different formula than you might know from the past streams. This is like an online stream, so we can meet with our two guests that are joining us today. One of them is Rito. You might know her from the Discord. She used to be a very like active member of the community, and starting from February, she became a member of Ancient Fort Studio as a community manager. And yeah, hi Rito.
Oh, hi, hi.
Apart from Rito, there is with us Wax, who's one of the co-founders of Ancient Fort Studio and technical director of the company.
Hi there. Very excited to be here and talk more about the tenants.
Yeah. And there is me, some guy who's the president of the tenants from Frozen District and business developer. Yeah. Uh, so we wanted to talk a little bit more about landlord update, but before we go into that, we wanted to show you the roadmap and maybe talk a little bit about it. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, let's pull it up.
Yeah. So where do we stand now, Wax, with it?
Right. So when it comes to our roadmap, we're hitting now the halfway point with it, with our landlord update. We had 4 major updates planned leading up to the 1.0 release, and the landlord update is our third update with it, which kind of looks like it's halfway point, as I mentioned. So it's a big turning point. There's a lot of really exciting stuff coming up with it. And we're really excited that we can finally start talking more about it. And well, soon everyone's going to be playing it as well, which is even more exciting. But definitely a very important stepping point and contains a lot of features and a lot of content that's been in the works for many, many weeks now, months really. And I'm excited to see you guys react to it and play with it.
Yeah, like on the roadmap, we don't have like the smaller updates we were doing within, like in the meantime. But there were a couple of right. Like we had Halloween update, which was like quite huge, and the winter one. Yeah, that was really
Hmm.
really something. Because we were thinking, like correct me if I'm wrong, but like that these updates they can spice up again a little bit and like add something like some more variety to it and so on.
Yeah.
So so that was important for us that we don't deliver you updates like every 3 months, 4 months, but like in the meantime there is something coming in.
Yeah. These are only the major updates that we had planned going into this early access. But as you said, we also wanted to make sure that we had content being pushed out in between those big updates. So that's why we did the winter update, we did the Halloween update, and then we have some more coming up as well after the landlord update. But these are the ones where have the most amount of content and all the new features and all the exciting stuff that everyone's looking forward to.
Yeah. Like can we talk a little bit about like how do we start like how do we work around like the major updates, like when do we start working on them, like what's the process of I don't know, like what's going to be in Manhattan or what's going to be
Hmm.
in London update, because I think it could
Hmm.
be interesting to talk about.
Yeah. With every major update, it's something that I suppose the initial plan for each of those updates is already kind of set in stone, but not necessarily because a lot of this stuff changes as well with the feedback that we gather from our community. We tend to at least strive to be as reactive as possible as well to whatever you guys are saying about the game. So if there's a feature or if there's an idea that's being repeated all the time by people, and people are saying that they really want to see this and this in the game, then we take that on board and implement it, even though we might have previously thought of something else. Which is, as you will guys later seeing it in during the stream, is something that happened with this update as well. Because there's really a bunch of interesting things that happen throughout its development. So I think it's a mixture of both planning and as I mentioned, some of the stuff has already been planned out way in advance, right when we were starting our early access journey. But then a lot of it is also something that we were just able to change as we went. So yeah, it's a mixture of both.
Yeah, that's true. I'm really happy that like the games I'm working with, like including both like House Flipper and the Tenants, that like we really put a lot of focus on players' feedback. That like we have something in mind. Like this roadmap was being prepared like before we were releasing the game, like back then, like last year in March, right? So
Mhm.
so we had like roughly, okay, we will have tenancy update, like renovation, landlord, but like those things that are written here, like there were some ideas that we had back then, but then within the
Hmm.
like the development and like how things were going, because all those major updates, they have like different scope, and they are like some mechanics, they are like combining nicely together, some of them not necessarily, and so on. So what we have in mind, it is changing, but then once we have like a list of things we want to do, mechanics and so on, like we try to stick to it. Um, so yeah, that's something like worth mentioning, and I'm always like super happy to see like that when we start planning like the next update, like how many ideas we have from new players, from our community. It's really amazing.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So yeah, like let's talk a bit more about landlord update, because it's really interesting one, and there's a lot to talk about here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mention that like here with us as well is Rivit. Like he's our technical guy who's making sure the stream is working smoothly. Everybody can say hi to Rivit, because
Hi
without
guys.
him we wouldn't be able to be here.
Hi, Rivet.
Hi.
And Rivit, could you please play the showcase of the landlord update so we can talk a bit more about it?
Okay. So I guess the biggest feature that we could start off talking about would be uh, the auctions, the trading, the selling feature, which I think is pretty much the number one requested feature by players. Am I right, Fito?
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
pretty much. Wherever, if you wherever you go, Discord, Steam, Facebook, people are talking about wanting the ability to sell their own places and make money off of them. So with this update, we're finally making it a reality, and we're adding a feature where you will be able to auction off your properties. Actually, um, now this one will also come with an interesting, I would say, change up to the overall gameplay formula that we have in the game, because we'll also be introducing this property limit, meaning that you will only be able to own a certain number of properties in the game at any given time. And this was done in order to make sure that with the amount of properties that we have throughout the entire game, we always have enough jobs for you in the game. Because one of the common complaints that we've been hearing from the community as well is that some people would push very early on to get as many properties as possible, and then the issue that they would run into would be that they would run out of jobs. And so with
Mhm.
this property limit, we're also making sure that you both can enjoy having a lot of really exciting properties, but at the same time, you also be able to continue playing all those jobs that we have in the game.
Mhm.
And I suppose it also introduces the shift, because previously, because you couldn't sell any of the properties, we had this style of gameplay where essentially you were able to kind of play it as and sort of get into the vibe of this completionist person, where you'd be buying each and every single one of them, and you would be working on one property, you would be maxing it out, you would be renting it out, and then that would be it. But with this limit and with this idea of selling, we will now shift the gameplay more into like this min maxing sort of style of gameplay, where at first, for instance, you'll be starting off with only two properties that you'll be able to own. So you will get those two properties. You will try to make the most out of them. and then you will try to sell them to upgrade to better properties, and then you will try to renovate those properties. You will try to upgrade those properties, and then you will sell those properties to upgrade to even better ones. So the gameplay loop will change in a way that we really weren't. In the past, we weren't exactly able to execute on, and I think that is really exciting for us to see because that is the style of gameplay that we intended for Tenants to have pretty much since the early beginning of the game, but sadly we're not able to do because we didn't have this feature.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I remember when we were releasing the game like in March last year, and it was like, what else can we have included in this version that we start selling? And it was like so many features we wanted to do, but then it was like, no, we need to wait with them, right? And then like finally here with the landlord updates, we can give you the auctions and selling apartments, and like really happy to do that, right? Um, what's next? What's coming?
Oh
What's
wait, can I
coming
add
now?
on to the selling?
Sure.
I just wanted to say that like we know that for people who are like very far in their side files that the apartment cap isn't, going to be something that they might enjoy of the game. But it's something that we are still tweaking, so we are very open to feedback towards it.
hmm Yeah, it's important to know that this property limit is something that you can upgrade in the game,
Mm-hmm.
and you can buy more slots for properties. And then, as Rito said, we're also open to feedback, and we're thinking about maybe possibly making the last upgrade unlock all the slots again.
Hmm.
But we want it to be more of an end game goal
Yeah.
and not something that is right there from the very beginning, so that you have something to aspire to.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I also like it that whenever we release the update and then there is some feedback on like, this could work a little bit differently, and like, we don't have any problems with saying no, like, we're not accepting this feedback. We just actually think about it, and then like we are adjusting the mechanics to be more enjoyable, or like the way that you want to have them. The next thing is new allied contracts. I think this is something that personally I'm the most excited about. Yeah, here we have the gas station one.
Right.
Mhm.
So in terms of elite contracts, as always, they're, I suppose, I should kind of use that as some of the most exciting content in the game for most people. And with this update, we're introducing four of them, four new ones, and that's going to be the gas station, as you mentioned, the botanical garden, the railway station, and there's going to be a school contract in the slums. So the first three that I mentioned are going to be in the suburbs, as this is the district that we're going to be focusing on a little bit more with this update, and then the school is going to be in the slums.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
and what was
Mhm.
what was the because these contracts, they are different from what we were getting before, and like what was the idea behind that? Like, why do we have botanic garden or gas station here? Because
Oh,
it's really fun.
well, gas station.
do you want to
Which
explain
oh,
it? Okay.
Uh, either like any.
Okay. Well, gas station actually came from because I was playing gas station simulator for Wax and streaming it for him, and then he thought it would be a really cool elite contract idea.
and then I sort of passed it on to the team, and then it was in
Mhm.
the pool of ideas, and then somehow it made it to the game. So there
Yeah.
you go. Stuff like that can happen as well.
Yeah. I'm my personally, I think I like the most school one because I don't know, like when you start adding all the items in the room and so on, it's like it's having this really nice vibe,
Mhm.
and,
hmm
and the items are like really nicely done. Like especially you will be able to see there. We will see that in the video, and the botanical garden. Like wow, it's I think it's Watson's the most favorite one.
hmm
Watson is our tester here, and he was saying like this is really amazing. Like you can feel that you are in a jungle while doing this
Yeah.
contract.
Well, Rich also likes plants, so
Yes, I love plants, so it's also my favorite job.
there you go. But I guess what you can also say, because you mentioned the items and how cool they are with the new contract,
Mhm.
is with the new update, you will actually be able to unlock all the unique elite contract items by playing them and simply doing them, which is really exciting, and it's a new feature that we've been working on for a while now.
Yeah. That even like I also noticed it. Like it would be cool to be able to use these items, because then it gives you like much more variety. Like you're preparing your apartment. You just bought, and then you're like, oh, okay, now I can use these elite items, and it's a really cool feature. Um,
Yeah, but I think because elite contracts are only part of the content that we have prepared when it comes to jobs, but overall we've done a lot to jobs. Like, Brito, do you want to talk more about it?
I can. Basically, all the old jobs that you know and love have been reworked in some way. So, every job is technically new in a way to you, even if you've done them like 1,000 times. And then we've also added new jobs. I think it was over 90 new
Yeah.
jobs altogether. So yeah, so it's very exciting to see because we had a lot of complaints about everything being repetitive with jobs. So we hope that this like truly helps with that.
There's definitely a lot more variety now, and sort of unique jobs that have been created specifically for each property in each district.
Hmm.
yeah,
But this is actually one of those things because we talked about how do we plan our updates and stuff at the very beginning when we were talking about the roadmap. But this
mhm.
is something that we're not exactly thinking about when we're designing the roadmap. But this is something that came directly as a result of the feedback that we've been getting from people and Steam reviews, but also on our social media platforms. As some people have been saying how, as Rito mentioned, the game could be a bit repetitive, so we wanted to uh, go and tackle it now and make sure that we add enough base core content to the game that is exciting in and of itself.
Yeah, like when I was testing the game, like before, like to give you some feedback, and I saw like this new type of jobs, like the kind of they're like that they are reworked. I was like, wait, am I still playing the tenants? It's like they are so varied, and now like before it was like okay, I have this type of job, and so on. But now it's a really nice thing that happened. And we also having a new type of job. Can we talk a little bit about it?
Uh, right.
It's,
We're talking about puzzle jobs.
yeah.
Right. So puzzle jobs are a new type of renovation jobs where you have even less space, but even more requirements at the same time. And you really have to fit it with it to make it work. And they're supposed to be kind of like logical puzzles in the game, where you're going to be rotating a lot of the items and trying to fit them all in into this very narrow space that you have with each job. And I suppose they're just something that is a little bit different, something that spices up our usual lineup of jobs. And so far, the feedback has been really good when it comes to those jobs. So I'm really
Hmm.
excited to see how everyone's going to interact with them.
That's interesting. We got some question from I hope I read it right. Maxowina1. Will you be improving tenant renovation requests? Sometimes they want me to renovate RV or some other small apartment, and I can't really fit those requested items in there.
hmm Yeah. So tenant renovation requests, that was a feature that we've introduced recently, and it's definitely something that we've been looking into more and more in terms of like how to improve it and in terms of adding more requests to it. This is not something that we're going to address necessarily with this patch, but I can assure everyone that in the future we're definitely going to be taking another look and adding more to it.
hmm Yeah, I think we also made this change within this update that whenever there's like a renovation request from tenants, that after the renovate the requests, when we finish the job, like the tenants will be interacting with the changes in a way.
hmm Right. Just to make it a little bit more interesting and rewarding, I suppose. We made a small change that once you're done with a tenant request, they're also going to be immediately going and trying out this new equipment that you put in, so that you'll get this feedback if they like it or not, a bit more visually, just like looking at them and seeing what they do.
That's something I think. Like when I was playing the game, I was like, I gave you you musician all the items you wanted, and now you're not using them. I'm like, I'm sad. So that's something like I feel like this update, like this change, was done specifically for me. No, of course I'm joking here, but that was something nice. Um, I'm not sure where we're with the video, but David, can we jump to the place where we're talking a bit about the new archetype? Because that's another interesting something.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right.
Here she is.
So the new archetype, we have now magicians joining us in Wondersville. They focus on magic and tricks, as you can imagine, and it's an archetype that you can meet in every district. And it's the first archetype that can directly interact with other tenants living in the apartment, which is really exciting for us, and it gives us a solid baseline going forward in terms of expanding on that feature and implementing it for other archetypes. But they have a bunch of tricks basically that involve other tenants, and some really funny ones, some really interesting ones. And I'm sure people are gonna have a grand old time with them. And again, it's something that I just can't wait to see people
Yeah,
experience themselves.
yeah. How it's coming out. Yeah, that's really nice. Like, I'm not sure. Like, I think you can see the pattern now that with every single like major update, we try to bring a new archetype to again like bring some more variety to the game, and that's something like me. I'm personally also like very excited about. And like my dream would be that in the future we would have some more like because we will like currently I'm not sure how many archetypes do we have. Do you know exactly? Is it 8?
Let me mentally count real quick.
Yeah, because we have the influencer, the alcoholic, now magician, musician, artists,
Athlete
athlete,
and gamer.
and
So
gamer, right?
7,
So
right?
yeah.
okay, so it's 7. So like my dream would be that in the future, like we will have some like more interactions between archetypes, or like
Hmm.
it would be problematic to have this archetype with this one and so on. I'm not sure we will be doing it like before release of the like version, like the full version. But sometime I think this is a feature that would be cool to have, because then I think it would like add another layer to it. It's like you need to focus on like, okay, these two archetypes, they cannot be together and so on, and that could be interesting, I guess.
Hmm. Definitely. I mean, we have a system plan that we're sort of starting with this archetype, the magician, where we want to have a certain pool of actions that can affect other people living in the property. So, for instance, the magician can perform tricks with other people, and then when it comes to those people, depending on who they are, they might either like it and react to it positively, or they might, well, dislike it, and therefore their happiness might go down, the relationship with this one person might go down, and this sort of this dynamic system that we want to expand on later on in the game's development cycle.
Yeah, that's something like I'm also like curious to see how it will come out. And like, what's your feedback, players? Yeah, I didn't mention it, but if you have any questions, guys, like feel free to ask them, and like we'll be answering them on the way. Um, we're also having yeah, prestige rework. What can we
All
talk
right, Frito is our expert on prestige.
I am ish.
Ish.
Don't want to toot my own horn, but we added prestige to jobs. So because to advance in the game to get like better rent for your apartments and stuff, you need prestige to level up your rooms. but it was always confused to players. They didn't know what it meant, how it played into the game and stuff. So we added a tutorial and we added them to jobs. So it gives the players more of a feel for it and how to use it and how to apply it to certain rooms. So now with jobs, you will have a set prestige score that you have to hit along with the requirements.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like hmm. This is something that, like, I don't know. I'm very curious about it. Like, definitely, it's a very good idea that we're adding it to jobs as well, so people, yeah, they can get a bit more familiar with it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there is like room for like for development of it, of like prestige. Like, so
Mhm.
since we've reworked it now, it's like, okay, we have like a solid base for it, and then like I'm not sure we can talk about apartment upgrades, but like it can have something to do with that in the future as well, right?
Ooh, apartment upgrades.
You don't know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. We
Yeah.
do.
Okay.
We do.
Let's submit this one. But we might have some surprise for you in the future, not in this
Mm-hmm.
update, but
Definitely.
we got another question from Akira Vishu. Is it going to be possible to have a Steam workshop with the tenants, the same way we have it in House Flipper?
Let's just say that it's something that we were researching. Let's put
Yeah.
it this way.
Currently still in the talks.
I think this is like, since we have some experience with it, like how it was implemented in House Flipper, that this, we know that it could be like a very cool feature for the tenants. But yeah, this is something that we're still like thinking about. We're definitely not saying no to it, which means that, yeah, this is something that might come to the game, but not in this or the next update.
Mm-hmm.
We're also having, I'm not sure we have it on the video, but we have new archetypes, like we have specific events for each archetype. Can we talk a little bit about it? Maybe a bit, like a few of them?
Right. So with this update, we're introducing a new batch of events that can happen in the game, and all of them we've tied to the archetypes because we wanted to make them a bit more personalized, and we wanted to make them a bit more engaging when it comes to gameplay, and make them a little bit more complex, I suppose. And so each archetype in the game now gets a dedicated event, and in the future we're going to be adding more. In terms of examples, if you want to tease people a little bit, we can say that, let's see, for instance, we can say that gamers are going to ask us to play, well, actual games with them. And there's going to be a game within a game going on, and the tenants, and they will invite you to play this very old school arcadey game, but pre-made in a very interesting way that is going to involve Uncle Steve and cactuses. And that's all I'm going to say about it.
Yeah, that's something we can like. Uh, you players, like, you can investigate like what new events were added to the game, and what do you think about them. But they are definitely like really cool. We had lots of fun and laugh playing them, and seeing some like how some of them are working, and because Uncle Steve um, helping with something, like with some parts.
Yeah,
It's
Uncle Steve is a really skilled dude. He can do it all in the game.
That's true. He's a superhero. David, can we jump as well to the part of the new currency? Is it the one? It was somewhere. I think this is somewhere here, right? So what's all about the new currency? Because this is intriguing.
Right. So when it comes to the new currency, we're introducing the so-called landlord points. And this is the currency that's going to give us another balancing layer, because previously we only had money that you were making in the game. But for certain features, we realized that making them tied to the money wasn't necessarily a good idea because either they would have to cost a lot, and if they did cost a lot, then it would be just kind of weird at the beginning of the game because we wouldn't be able to charge players those amounts, and at the same time, we didn't want those things to be too easy to get late game. So an example of this would be all the features related to gifts and sabotages and services. We didn't want donuts to cost $5,000, but at the same time, they were pretty decent option. So, like, how do you make that work without going for prices that don't make any sense? Well, why don't we introduce a completely new currency? Was basically the answer that we had. Um, and this one is also going to be used with the property limits that we mentioned before. You're going to be
Mhm.
upgrading your property cap using landlord points and money as well. And in the future, we have a bunch of other ideas as far as to where to put them in the game. So I think this just gives us more options going forward.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like when you and Antec, like when it was the first time you've mentioned the new currency, I was like, okay, like let's see what do you have in mind. And then like kind of the more I was thinking about it, and then when I was playing the game and I was seeing it, I was like, okay, this could be added and this could be connected with this and so on. So yeah, that opens like new doors for us,
Mhm.
which is really exciting. Um, and
Yeah, Frito, if you could mention how we can get landlord points.
Basically, you can get llama points. In a more rewarding matter, I guess it's a way that you could say it. So like when you take care of like your tenant's needs with the uncle, like any events like earthquakes, pest, anything like that, or cacti or cactuses. Um, and then let's see, there was that. Oh, it's on the screen. Anyways, you get them by tenant renovation request. You can get them from completing elite jobs and by fully like completing a lease
Hmm.
where it and I believe where it ends on a good term.
Yeah, without us kicking them out.
Yeah, without us kicking them out.
Right.
Um, which is good because this makes it more rewarding. So you're not
Hmm.
just doing the stuff for your tenants and getting nothing but relationship out of it.
Yeah. Basically, you got to do landlordy things to get landlord
Yeah,
points.
yeah, it's good.
yeah, this is definitely like a feature we're still like optimizing. So like we're very much open for suggestions. Like, okay, if you have too many like points, landlord points, right? Like let us know. Like maybe some should be a bit lowered or a bit like something should cost a bit more or less or so. Like feel free to let us know.
Hmm.
But yeah, like definitely in the future updates, like we will want to combine it as well with some other stuff. And as you can see here, like so we're adding like lander points now, and they are connected with tenancy update, like which was released like in July. So
Hmm.
so connected with these actions, So what I also like a lot about tenants is that we are like combining mechanics that were introduced back like some time ago. We see that they are not as nice to play or they are not as rewarding or whatever. And now with new updates, we try to make them more appealing, interesting, or whatsoever. So that's something yeah, I wanted to mention as well.
Hmm. I I think that's important for us as well to just make sure the game remains a cohesive experience and all the mechanics make sense with relation to each other.
Yeah. Maybe now we could make some giveaway. Revit, will you allow us to make some giveaway? You will be able to. So you need to let us know like what people need to do in the chat. Okay, exclamation mark landlord, so you can join the giveaway, and you will be able to win either the Tenants or House Sleeper, any version PC, Xbox, PlayStation, or any DLC. Um, we'll give you what, like 3 minutes to join, and yeah, like let's give away some keys. Yes, yes. This giveaway is only on Twitch. So if you're watching it anywhere else, you need to go to twitch.tv dash frozen district and type it in the chat. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them.
I believe I saw somebody asking what the property cap was at the moment.
Hmm.
I don't want them to feel ignored.
Oh, right. So when it comes to the limit, we start off with 2 properties, as I mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can upgrade it all the way up to 16 at the very end. I think it's the final upgrade you unlock at level 70.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is where we are with it for now.
And we know it's not optimal for people who have all properties in both districts already, or maybe maxed out, but it is being tweaked still.
Yeah. And I wanted, yes, I wanted to as well ask you about it because okay, we have this new amazing for allied contracts, and like what's the process behind like how it's being created? Because I think like you're making some research, and how does it work here? For example, I don't know with the school, like what was the like how did you come up with it, and why does it look the way that it looks?
Hmm. So when it comes to elite contracts, I think the very first thing that we have to think about is where are we going to put them? Where's going to be our building on the map? We kind of go through what we have and see if there's anything that we can already use and maybe expand from the environment assets that we have. And once we have that, we start thinking about the interior design. We start thinking about the items. And for the most part here, I have to just commend our team of designers and our artists because they're incredible and they're just able to come up with a lot of the stuff without even us putting in too many ideas. Like with a gas station, we can just say that, oh, it'd be cool to have a gas station in the game, and then 2 days later they come up with a bunch of really incredible assets. So a lot of it is just on them and on their artistry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think as well when you are preparing the race station.
Oh no.
What's happening? um, okay, we have a winner. Who's the winner? Um, okay. I don't know how to read this nickname. This NITJ dash SEFNI. Okay, I guess this is how you read
Call
it.
them Stephanie.
It's a tough
Stephanie
one. It's
Stephanie.
a tough one.
and
Yes,
TJ Stephanie. Yeah.
Yeah.
and DJ Stephanie. Please send us an email, right, on community at frozendistrict.com and saying like which key would you want to receive. And to remind, we have the Tenants, House Flipper, any version or any DLC for House Flipper. As well, when I was playing, so I'm playing the game and I'm looking for new allied contracts, and I'm like going through the district, and I'm saying, wow, I don't think it looked like this, and I think what I've noticed is that like the district as well is changing with every single update, right?
Hmm.
Can we talk a little bit about it?
Yeah. I wouldn't say that with every single update, although we try to add things here and there. But in terms of making sure that it stays alive and that we polish it up and spruce it up, it's definitely something that we do. We've previously focused mostly on the sums and making sure that they look great, even though they're the sums, because they're the first district that you as the player have access to and interact with. But with this update, I would say we took a closer look at the suburbs because most of the contracts, the new contracts, are in the suburbs, and we're making some changes in regards to some of the environment art in the suburbs as well. This is all just to make us ready for the next big update, which is going to be Manhattan, because well, that update is just huge, and I can say already that some of the art and some of the designs that we have planned for that one in particular, it's definitely worth waiting for.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember we were talking about like, so when we released the Tenants, we had like two districts, and the way that they were designed was like it was one way, but like based on the feedback we've gathered and like we of course like we got more experience, like the Manhattan is a bit different. Like I think we will talk about it, but like briefly, like what's like how was like Manhattan designed? Like you were saying something about like the
Mm-hmm.
block, like the block out or so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when it comes to Manhattan, uh, ever since we released the game, we uh, began working with an incredible designer on our team who used to work as an actual architect who would work on stuff like this. And with his help, we were able to design the third district from a more top-down sort of design methodology, and we've come up with like this whole blueprint, pretty much the entire district, and we already know where we want to put like each element on the map, and we have like all the properties planned out, all the little buildings, all the little environment art elements with it, and I think this gives us a lot of advantages now going into production and realizing all this and putting it into the game as the map is just going to be even better, even denser, and even more varied when it comes to content thanks to it.
Yeah, like it's with every single update, like I like just like going through the district and like watching like what changed and so on, and here in the suburbs, like I think somewhere I've noticed like there was a small sandbox or this garden. Oh, I think there were a bunch of bushes here, and now there is something else. There is like it looks a bit different, and there is some path and so on, and it's really cool. Wait, I didn't see this part in the video. Um, so this is the one you were talking about, right? The for the game.
Yes, this is for the game archetype.
Hmm.
Okay, that's
Need to
that's really
try
cool.
not to shoot Uncle Steve.
Yeah, keyword
No,
try.
Yes.
this
Or
this
try.
is this is something like I remember we had this talk about like tenants and like age rating for tenants and so on, and it was like, the game looks like it could be like Peggy free, like for everybody, but then you have that some stuff, that they are like, that's
Yeah,
interesting, and I
and then
really love it about
and
it's
then
a
we had some bugs where if you took screenshots of them, they could easily be Peggy 18. So
yeah, that's really cool.
Those were fun.
those were
Definitely
fun.
the tenants isn't for everybody. Um, okay, and then this is we're showing another event. Okay, let's talk a little bit about it as well, but let's not spoil anymore.
Yeah, okay, so this one that we're seeing right now as a musician event, this is actually a mini game that we introduced first with the winter update. This music mini game, but we received a lot of feedback since on it because it was just a limited time content type of thing previously, and we expanded on it a little bit more, improved it. So we have new tracks, new music with it, and we're kind of relaunching it with this update, and it's gonna stay here now with our musician archetype. So I'm excited to see how people react to it too.
Yeah, that's really cool. Um, I think like we're slowly but surely we're like going to the end of our agenda, what we have prepared for today. So guys, if you have any questions about something, let us know. And I think in the meantime we can make another giveaway. Shall we do it?
Mm-mm.
Um, this time, Revit, what would it be? Exclamation mark. What? Okay. So and as well, exclamation mark landlord, right? What's landlord? And let's give you like 3 minutes as well. Mm, what else? What else there is?
We can kind of go over some feedback that we've gotten from the community and have changed.
Yeah, sure.
Like for example, one of the main objectives was I can't remember the name, but you had to get 12K cash flow, and we saw that there was a lot of complaints about this, and everybody was kind of struggling to hit that mark. Um, so we took all the feedback into consideration, and we actually changed it from 12K to 8K in hopes that it kind of helps people like get through the game a little, not faster, but more easily.
Hmm.
And then, Wax, do you wanna add anything?
Oh yeah, and then not only that, but we also added two goals before that one,
Mhm,
so that the progression of the game, the storyline that leads up to it, is a little bit smoother as well. Because that was a big jump going from like all these goals that he could finish in, let's say 20, 30 minutes to this one that had you save up all this money, 12K cash
mhm,
flow, as Rito said. So I think all these changes put together is going to make sure that the transition to the server shouldn't be as daunting as it previously could be for some players.
mhm.
Sure. And as well, I think there were some changes to proximity bonuses. What?
Hmm.
Yep. Now, before you, let's see. Actually, I'll let Wax do this because he knows more
Yeah.
about the scene stuff.
I'd say previously, we kind of treated them more as penalties, unfortunately. Or
Yeah.
if you didn't put down a certain item in its quote unquote correct position, we would dock you off some points for it when it comes to your job ratings and stuff. And you would always have like this one warning icon in the middle of your screen
Yes.
screaming at you, telling you to move it all the time. And a lot of people would get really anxious about it. A lot of people would say that it kind of stifles their creativity and that they can't do what they want to do in the game because the game tells them that certain items have to be in certain positions only. So we're changing
Mhm.
the way you communicate about this. We're changing the way you look at it from point of view of our internal mechanics, and we're now going to be treating them more as optional bonuses, but not penalties.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, instead of warnings, you're going to get suggestions that maybe you could move something to a different location. But if you don't want to do it, then that message is also going to disappear and it's not going to stay there on your screen. And you will not be getting any penalties if you choose not to do it, which I think
Mm.
is important.
This is like a small change, right? But it's so it's so powerful. Like
Hmm.
it's not like a warning. You can do it or like you shouldn't do it. It's like it's a suggestion. Like you can change
Yeah.
it, do it a bit differently, and that changes the whole like communication.
Hmm. Yeah. Like honestly, I was surprised how many people felt that way for the previous system. I guess we didn't see it at the time when we implemented it first. But again, we look at your feedback and we saw it as something that you guys had
Mhm.
problems with, and yeah, we decided to change it.
Yeah,
Uh,
and from a player view, we always got that people felt like they had to do it that way, even though the warning was still there, they could ignore it, but because of the warning just screaming at them constantly, they felt like it was either this way or no way. So hopefully with this system, they kind of understand a bit more like, yeah, you can do it this way, but you don't have to. It's not screaming at you to do it.
mhm. That's really nice. I think as well we have some like optimization here. So but like this is something that is working in the background. But I think like we are close to the optimization to have the game like running more smoother and
Hmm.
yeah, like in the future, like with the new district and so on, like the game will be more heavier. So this optimization was important to have as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah, with this one specifically, we're focusing mostly on our loading speeds, and there's been
Mm,
some really important changes that we did to our whole game initialization pipeline, which with certain configurations should lead to, I mean, up to 50% improvements when it comes to loading times, which is really exciting. And as always, we're on the lookout for more opportunities to optimize the game. And this is just another step, but there definitely will be more coming in the future.
mm,
That's nice. And we have the winner of this giveaway, who's it's a bit easier to read this nickname, which is Quickening517. Please send us an email to contact@frozendistrict.com and let us know which Steam key would you want to receive. To repeat again, you can choose either the Tenants, House Sleeper, or any DLC for House Sleeper. Yeah, and of course, like we need to talk about like when the Landlord updates is going live. As I'm not sure we've mentioned it.
We have not yet.
Okay, do we want to mention it now?
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
So, Rito, when is it going live?
The Landlord update is actually going live Monday, the 28th at 7 p.m. CET or CET time.
Yes. Yes, like this is the date. Like we know here, we're in the team for a long time already, but it's like, we were so excited to tell you, and this is an obvious thing for us, but it's not an obvious thing for you. So yeah, just like in 3 days, you will be able to play this update, and like we're really excited to give it for you and to see how you like it. Yeah, like if we don't have anything else to talk about here, I think we'll play you once again the trailer of Landlord Update to hype you up for this update. And yeah, that was really amazing to have you here, guys, joining us today, and
Thank
that
you.
was a true pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming.
Bye bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys. Bye.